script, it was just one line of dialogue that said, "The biggest, most expensive, powerful, rip-roaring action scene animation has ever seen in their entire existence." That was the line that I had to get forth in the storyboards. So that's kind of a daunting task when it, you know, falls right in my lap. So I just start boarding and put everything in the kitchen sink in there that I could even think of, that I would even want to see, that would be cool. And we went through several versions of the final battle before we actually got to the one that ended up on screen.
This is another area of the film, if I were to have my perfect version, I would have had this scene go on maybe a minute or two longer, because we had great stuff that we simply couldn't afford.
It was gigantic. We had a Stratofortress try and carpet bomb the Giant. We had more F-86s try and strafe the Giant. The Giant burst through a forest onto a highway that's ice-slicked, slips and nearly falls on all the cars that are on the highway. We had it fall into the ocean where submarines attacked it. So it was just everything we threw into the final battle. Brad, when I originally pitched it, where we were near the end, he looked at it and he said, "All right, Mark, this is great. It's awesome. It's really working well. Now let's take it down a third."
It always seemed to become ungainly, and they started making fun of me because I kept saying, "Cut it in half." The first thing I would always say whenever they showed me anything in the battle sequence was, "Cut it in half." And it was because every time I would leave them with it, we would cut it down, and then it would sprawl out again. It was like the sequence that will not, you know, be contained.
We got F-86 fighter planes, we got the tanks, we got Jeeps with 30mm machine guns, we've got howitzers, we've got the ground troops with bazookas and machine guns, and just anything that I could think of, you know, from different war movies. The message we wanted to drive home with the final battle was just, you can't stop the robot. The military shows up, they have everything brought to bear against the robot, but that is not even remotely enough, as this thing is invincible, it can't be stopped. So that when Hogarth finally breaks through the programming of the robot, and the robot remembers who he is, it's just that, you know, that David and Goliath, this little boy was able to stop the robot.